Hey everyone, Steve Monette here with another video in my Bible Prophecy Bite series, where we look at Bible scripture, history, and current events that all point to the soon return of Jesus the Messiah. Okay, so for today's video, I want to continue talking about the Earth Beast, the Mark of the Beast, and the latest news coming out of the United Nations. It's pretty amazing stuff. So, as you know, in Revelation 13, we know that the Bible tells us about a beast system that is going to rise up from the earth. And this beast system will cause all people to receive a mark indicating the ability, or permissions, I should say, to buy and sell. Thankfully, we have the Bible to interpret these verses for us because Scripture always confirms Scripture. If we didn't have that doctrine, then interpretation would be up to any and all whims of man's imagination. But again, thankfully, we have this doctrine that Scripture confirms Scripture. Okay? And so as a result of that doctrine, we know that a beast system is a king or ruling government. The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and 7 confirms that for us. And we also know that the Greek word for earth in Revelation 13 can mean the whole earth. Okay? And we also know that a mark in the forehead and the hand is a sign that you follow the commandments of God. And again, we know this from Exodus chapter 13 and Deuteronomy chapters 6 and 11. So in summary, using the Scripture confirms Scripture doctrine, we know that a ruling government will come up out of the whole earth, cause all people, including children, to receive some sort of a mark which signifies that you follow this government's commandments. It really is pretty simple. When you allow Scripture to confirm Scripture, it just lays it right out for you. There's no need for interpretation. There's no need for imagination. None of that stuff. The Bible interprets itself. Well, guess what? United Nations, through the World Health Organization, on August 27th, 2021, issued a 99-page document entitled Moving Towards Digital Documentation of COVID-19 Status. So we have the World Health Organization under the UN auspices, which, by the way, the UN is a worldwide governing body. Weak governing body, but it is nonetheless a weak governing body, that issues a document that provides guidance for countries around the world in creating a snakebite verification system. I want you to think about that for a minute. The UN, through the World Health Organization, issues guidance in how to create a worldwide snakebite verification system. And this is not even the worst of it. We know this because when we read on the very, very first page in the introduction, the COVID-19 digital verification is not only being used to document mandated snakebite status, but it clearly says that it can be used for other purposes besides health. Take a look at this picture where I've highlighted the text where it indicates that. I mean, this is absolutely amazing stuff. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. In paragraph 1.2, we see that this document was written for national authorities that are tasked with creating a snakebite digital verification system. Now, what that really means, nations, because the UN is comprised of nations or countries. So think about this. The UN, through the WHO, World Health Organization, is providing guidance to nations who wish to create worldwide global electronic systems for ensuring snakebite verification. It's just amazing. And further, if we look at paragraph 1.3.1, we see that this document establishes guidance for a national framework for a database, a cloud-based database. And of course, we all know if it's cloud-based, it can be accessed from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. Okay, so yeah, Again, they're not even trying to hide it. And then in paragraph 1.3.2, we see that the World Health Organization intends to issue a separate document regarding those people that have recovered from COVID-19 because their immunity status is, quote, uncertain. Now, of course, this flies in the face of 100 plus years of medical science, where natural immunity is preferred. In fact, there's an old saying in the medical community, infection before injection. Pretty simple, right? You'd rather get the actual disease and develop natural immunity to it as opposed to having to rely on man-made immunity. But hey, we can't have none of that stuff here because that goes against the narrative that everybody needs a snake bite. Okay. All right, so let's get away from the UN World Health Organization news and let's get a hold of the latest from Dr. Fauci. I want you to take a look at this video clip that's about a minute long, where he recommends that all children receive a snake bite in order to go to school.
I want to ask you about some local issues. Culver City Unified School District in California became the first public school district in the U.S. to require vaccinations, not only for teachers and staff, but also for eligible students who are 12 and over. Now that the vaccine has full approval from the FDA, the Pfizer vaccine, would you like to see it mandated for students elsewhere in the U.S.? And once it's approved for kids under 12, should it be mandated for them too?
I know that a lot of people will be pushing back against that, but if you get the imprimatur about the safety and the strong benefit-risk ratio for the children, when that gets established, which I believe it certainly will, by the FDA and the ACIP, I believe that mandating vaccines for children to appear in school is a good idea. And remember, Jake, this is not something new. We have mandates in many places in schools, particularly public schools, that if in fact you want a child to come in, we've done this for decades and decades, requiring polio, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis. So this would not be something new, requiring vaccinations for children to come to school.
Interestingly, Fauci tries to sell this snake bite requirement as being like all other snake bites for kids. But here's the problem. These snake bites are causing massive health problems for kids, such as myocarditis. And in adults, just look at the data. The snake bites plain do not work. That's not me just trying to be a conspiracy theorist. Look at the data. In fact, we've seen this just out of Israel. Some 25% of hospitalizations are of people that have received both snake bites. And now they are mandating a third shot or a third bite. It's just amazing. Let's just continue, relying on something that doesn't work, right? Was it Einstein that said, continuing to do something that's never worked in the past is just the definition of insanity? Yeah, whatever. So I want to end it right there. I could get too long-winded with this. More evidence that this snake bite meets all the criteria of Revelation 13. We see that a worldwide government system is promoting this snake bite for both health uses and possibly other unnamed uses, which they readily admit is one of the purposes behind this worldwide verification system. Many countries that are part of this UN government body have already issued mandates for travel and entertainment. That is a form of buying. And then we have countries all over the world that are mandating a snake bite for employment or reimbursement of services. That is a form of selling. And now we have Dr. Fauci, who is affiliated with the World Health Organization, stating that all kids, along with all adults, should be mandated to get this snake bite. This is the great, small, rich, and poor that Revelation 13 speaks of. Now, I know that many of you are going to continue to insist that this is not the mark of the beast because it doesn't fit into your particular timeline. Well, guess what? There is no timeline in the Bible that tells us when this is going to happen. God gave us a detailed description of what it's going to look like and who it will affect. Yet God never gave us a timeline in Revelation. Any timeline that exists is the creation of man and not of God. And we see every single description of this mark coming to pass right in front of our faces. I don't know what else to say. It is that simple. And at the end of the day, you can choose to ignore this evidence because of some perceived timeline, but you do so at your own peril, because God is very clear as to what happens to those people that take this mark once it becomes a mandate. All right, guys, until next video, keep looking up, for our redemption draws near. Thanks for watching.